Welcome to a demonstration of the AwareFormScanner. This application is built on top of Aware COTS and allows the operator to scan in standard compliant fingerprint cards and generate standard compliant ANSI NIST ITL 2000 or ANSI NIST ITL 2007 based files, EBTS files. There's three main tabs to the application. The first is the biographic entry tab. The second is the fingerprint review tab, and the third is the interface to the scanner. The scanner we'll be using today is a Epson 10000 XL. This is a ADF enabled scanner. You load cards into the hopper on top. You can also alternatively use it as a flatbed scanner by placing the cards directly on the platen. Today we'll be using it as an ADF. To start off the scanning process, first you identify the card type. We'll be using FBI 249 criminal cards. You then identify the output directory to save the data in, and you also identify which TOT you'll be using. Today we'll be scanning in a EBTS CAR, criminal applicant tote. Once all information is identified, you load the cards into the hopper. Here I've got 5 cards loaded in the hopper, and you start the scanning process. So at this point the scanner has loaded up the first card and it is scanning that card. The form scanner makes use of Aware's AccuScan library. This library will drive a consumer off-the-shelf scanner, in this case the Epson 10000 XL, in a manner that is FBI IQS, otherwise known as Appendix F compliant. The result of this process is a FBI certified forensic quality output image, a digital image of the data on the card. Here it's now scanning card number 2. This scanner in this configuration is scanning the full 8x8 card. Takes about 35 seconds per card to scan. If the operator chooses to scan only the fingerprint section of the card, the bottom 5 inches, then it takes roughly 20 seconds to accomplish that scan. The hopper will hold up to 50 FBI cards, 8x8 cards, and that will take roughly 25 minutes to scan. The good part is that this process can be done unattended. If there is a paper jam, the AccuScan software will notify the application of the jam. A signal will be sent to the user so that the user can clear that jam and then continue on the scanning. This application also has the ability to scan not only in 500 ppi, but also in 1000 ppi. Again, the 1000 ppi scan data is FBI certified. It is a separate certification process. So we can support both 500 and 1000 ppi. The scanner can be driven both with the ADF and without the ADF. So you use it as a traditional flatbed. And finally, you can also scan the cards in duplex. So you can set up an AccuScan template which has multiple pages, where the first page within the template would be the front of the card, and the second page within the template would be in the back of the card. In more complex systems, you can also use AccuScan and the AccuScan template file to scan multi-card formats. So if you have a major case card, you can scan the front and the back of the template section, the front and the back of the right full hand, and the front and the back of the left full hand, all as one cohesive unit. Another option for the AwareFormScanner is to utilize not AccuScan but AccuScan MB. AccuScan MB gives you the ability to drive multiple scanners from one CPU, from one host workstation. At the bottom of the FormScanner screen, you see Scanner 2, Scanner 3, Scanner 4. So FormScanner has the ability to drive 4 scanners at the same time. And you would still output the EBTS files into one directory. Now we've completed our 5 cards. I'll show you here that we can also, here's a stack of 25 cards. Again, FBI criminal cards. These 25 cards will fit in the hopper. So the hopper will actually hold a grand total of 50 cards. Through the use of the AccuScan template file, we can not only scan FBI cards, but we can scan any card that we describe. This is actually a Interpol card, a larger format. This can be placed into the hopper and scanned as well. Back to the AwareFormScanner. As I stated earlier, we've got the ability to do 500 and 1000 PPI. We can use the ADF, or we can choose to not use the ADF. We can also duplex scan the front and the back of the cards. Now that we have those 5 cards scanned, the output, the files in this directory, are EBTS files. So we'll go directly to that directory. We'll identify the first one in the list. The FormScanner now loads up the EBTS file. The EBTS file will contain the segmented fingerprint images, as well as an image of the full card. And finally, it stores the AccuScan template file that was used to scan the card. The advantage of this is now we can click on any one of the fields that are listed on the front of the card, and it will take us directly to the printed card section. So here we've got the name. We can fill this in. If the card had data, we would simply transpose it here. John Smith. Gender is male. Race is Caucasian. Height, date of birth, state of birth, country and state of birth. This is not a field that is on this card, so no area shows up. Eye color, hair color, weight. And then we move down into the date of the offense and date of the arrest. So this completes the demographic data entry. We can also review the fingerprint image section. So we've got our right thumb, our right index, right middle, so on and so forth. There's no quality processes being applied at this time. The only thing that you can do is click on an image to identify that that finger is missing, amputated, or unprintable. Once we have entered in all the data for our card, we simply save that card and move on. Now, we are using Aware's NISPAC to generate the EBTS file, and NISPAC has flagged all of the missing fields for this transaction. So I would need to go in and enter in the date of birth, enter in the place of birth, enter in the eye color, hair color, all the mandatory fields. At that time, the warnings would disappear, and we'd be able to save the image. As I stated, we can scan other formats. So I'll go ahead and indicate a RCMP card, which is actually also an Interpol format. So I'll do an Interpol CPS and scan that card. Here it's reading the card, and again scanning the entire section. So the process here is identical. As many card formats as we have defined within the application, we can scan in a row. We do not need to interrupt the process. We simply identify the card that's on the hopper, scan it, and then continue on. So we'll scan the full page. As soon as that is complete, the card will be ejected, and we can move on to the remainder of the process and reloading the card and entering in and reviewing any demographic data. These cards are slightly larger, so it takes approximately 1 full minute to scan each card single-sided. We've completed the scan, ejected the card. Now we can go back to the application, load up, in this case, Interpol CPS. It loads in the EBTS file. Again, that contains the image. It contains the extracted images, fingerprint images. And then displays them for us. So again, we have information that's been entered. This is actually a prior entered card. We have all of our fingerprints. If we decide that the fingerprints are poorly segmented, we can adjust our crop regions. Here we display the full card, fine-tune our crop region placements, exit out, save the changes, and our new fingerprint segmentations have been completed and placed into the EBTS record. This completes the demonstration of the AwareFormScanner.